Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time watching, my name is Gabrielle. This is Gab and Glow. We talk about beauty here, we talk about life, and now we're talking about mommy things. I'm gonna just fix my hair real quick because in part one, the back of my hair was a little bit crazy. So this is part two of my birth story. And if you want to watch part one, I'll put the link in the description down below. Oh, and if you're not a subscriber, just go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss a video. I post videos almost every Friday. I haven't posted videos every Friday because I've been pregnant and had a kid and stuff, but most of the times every Friday at 9 a.m. So let's pick up where we left off. So the nurse was holding his head in, saying, wait, no, the doctor's not here. I need you to hold the baby. And I'm like, I don't know how. And the next contraction, out he comes, spits out like a football. And so I think from the stress of being in the birth canal for so long and the fact that he came out so abruptly, he came out blue, and then he let out this little cry. And then before I knew it, first they put him on my chest and I got to see him. And then before I knew it, they scooped him up, took him to the warmer, and then the whole NICU team rushed in. And this alarm is going off, and I'm just laying in the labor and delivery bed, praying in tongues, praying, Jesus, you did not bring us this far to just leave us. And they're saying he's not breathing, and they're doing heart compressions, and that felt like forever. And then my mom was kind of looking over, and she's like, he's turning pink, he's turning pink. So I'm like, all right, I'm still praying over here, and everything ended up being okay. They brought him back over, and I got to hold him, but I also felt super out of it. The magnesium that they gave me, it makes you feel like you're drunk and that you have the flu at the same time. And I had to be on that for 24 hours after I gave birth, and then from there on out, it's this detox process. And so I felt really bad because I literally could not take care of him the very first day that he was alive, and I could barely care for him for probably 3 or 4 days after that. I had this really bad pain in my neck. I feel when I was pushing forward, when I was pushing him out, I may have injured my neck. It could have been the preeclampsia or the magnesium, but I had a migraine for throughout the stay of the hospital. So he was born on a Wednesday morning, 7:26 a.m., 7 pounds, 5 ounces, 19 3/4 inches. Perfect, basically. And so, yeah, everything seemed to be going okay. Thursday, I felt a little bit better. The magnesium wore off, but I still had a really bad headache. He got blood work done. He got his circumcision, and then at 11 o'clock at night, the nurse, the next day on that Thursday, the nurse was I think he has jaundice. And I was like, oh great. So mind you, I haven't really slept since Monday, and I know mom life, you don't sleep at all, but that's kind of a long time to not get any sleep after giving birth and all of that stuff. Because you know how it is in the hospital, or if you don't know how it is, everyone's in there, or there's somebody in there every 15 minutes, either for him or for me, taking vitals, doing blood work, going over whatever. So you don't rest when you're in the hospital. And so 11 o'clock that Thursday night, they test him for jaundice, and then I really don't understand how it all works, but all I know is that 1 a.m. on that Thursday night, this nurse is spitting off so much information at me, and I'm still feeling kind of drunk from the magnesium, and I still have a migraine, and it was just a lot. And she basically pushed formula on me to feed him because my milk hadn't come in, and one of the ways to get rid of jaundice is to have them eat and then poop it out. But then also he had to be on this blue light, which causes dehydration. So I'm like a mess because I don't fully understand what's going on, and also like I wanted to exclusively breastfeed my kid. So yeah, that was fun. And the rest of the stay there was just really stressful. I kept telling people that I had a headache. No one was listening to me. And then at one point, they wanted to discharge me on Friday, but then keep him under the blue light for his jaundice. And I was like, oh, heck no. And my mom had to leave Thursday. And then I also had to coordinate, well, my car's at the hospital. Who's gonna come get me? And I'm trying to do all of this while not feeling well. Anyways, we get discharged on Saturday. We don't have to go anywhere on Sunday, but then we have to go back to get blood work on Monday. So we get our blood work done. Turns out his jaundice is still there. He has to be on a blue light like at home. And then my OB calls me at like 5 in the morning, not 5 in the morning, 5 in the evening. You good, baby boy? I might have to pause this. Hold on. And we're back. So long story short, my friend Amanda happened to be here, bringing me dinner, and she took me to the ER, and it was super emotional and super scary because there was a good chance that I was gonna have to get readmitted to the hospital without him. We weren't having that, were we? Right. So, long story short again, the doctor said that like my levels, like my kidney level, my kidney function level, and my liver function level were elevated. That wasn't much of his concern. His concern was like my blood pressure and the headache. The readings were borderline me being admitted, but he was like, I don't want to stress you out more. So he's like, you need to go home. You need to relax. I don't want you to focus on anything. I don't want to stress you out more by separating you from your child, and then come back tomorrow and get rechecked. So I had to make the decision to not stress out about breastfeeding that night and just give him bottles because mama needed to be okay. Right. So the next day, come back for his blood work because his Billy levels were still not where they needed to be. And all this time he has to be on this blue light at home. So this first whole week of me having him, I felt like I couldn't really enjoy him or hold him. So that was Tuesday. Finally, things seemed to be cleared up by Wednesday. But I think the driving point that I really want to talk about is there was so many moments during that first week where I'm just like, man, like God, like why does everything I go through have to be the hard way, you know? And I'm like, why can't I just have like a quote unquote normal postpartum experience, even though nothing is normal? But I thought I'd be more worried about my lady parts than severe postpartum preeclampsia. But here nor there. That Monday night when I got sent home from the ER instead of getting admitted, I was just like having a moment like with God. I was like, I need you to just take over. I can't handle this stress anymore. And just, you know, revisiting that thought of like, why does everything have to be so hard? And I had a really huge shift in perspective that night. And, you know, if I didn't go through the hard things, God wouldn't have room to show up in a really big way. And my life wasn't made for mediocrity. I was built to do our hard things. And so through these experiences, God has room to show up in a big way. And through that, the impact of my life expands. The territory of the people who I'm able to reach expands because of the things that I've gone through. And I've never felt more strong because I felt so weak and I had to tap into the strength that I have access to through Jesus. And so That's like the Cliff Notes version. Like, we're good now. Like, God has covered our lives and we're just, you know, ready to change the world. But it's kind of crazy how your heart expands, like the way that your heart expands, like when you have a kid, you know. So that's us. And that's it. And that's our story for now. There's a lot of other things that happened too outside of our health that God showed up in a big way for, but we'll save that for another day. We're still processing and working through all of that now, aren't we, sir? He's kind of perfect. So anyways, yeah, so next week, keep going and keep glowing. I don't know what vlogs are looking like, but we'll figure it out. We're figuring out things one day at a time. Bye, guys.